This is the best advice that startups will never follow. And the first one is one of my favorites. Don't take money from relatives, friends, and family who can't afford to walk away without remorse. I mean, this is one where I almost am afraid for the entrepreneur because sometimes they'll just take that money because it's easy to get and relatives will trust you to a great degree. But there's a common expectation among relatives that they want their money back if something fails. I've had it happen before. I've seen it happen before. And we want to make sure that any entrepreneur that tries to take friends and family money, ask that question 3 times. Do you really want to do this? And can you afford to do it? If I fail, I'm going to feel awful. But if I succeed, I'm going to feel great. Are you still okay? And if you ask a 3rd time and they say yes, then I think that's probably enough. Okay, and the second one is don't take money, especially startup loans, from unsophisticated investors. And you got to think about this one, because if you take money from unsophisticated investors, they often think it's like the stock market. They can get it back right away. Or it's going to happen and you're going to make money, so I'm going to make money. The problem is obvious, that sometime some of those investors are going to feel bad. My favorite story, and I hope the person isn't listening right now, is the cousin of the entrepreneur sued his cousin, who was the entrepreneur, sued the company, sued me, sued my wife, sued my family trust over the $100,000 he put in. And it's a longer story than that, but it's the only suit that I've ever had to settle in my life. I didn't want my wife on the stand. I didn't want this to go to trial. This was an unsophisticated investor that said, I want my money back. So get them to purchase equity instead of loans. And so the answer, the way I'd like to phrase that is, don't take loans from sophisticated investors unless you've already tried every way to get equity from them. There are reasons for this. And one of those is, if you are an investor, you probably know about Rule 1202. In other words, if you hold this investment for 5 years, federal income tax is 0. Not a bad thing for the investor at all. But if you do it in the form of a loan, that clock doesn't start. So we investors would rather we get it for equity than a loan. And my final statement about that is, I can't remember out of my 208 investments one time when I've collected on a loan in bankruptcy. Number 4, don't talk yourself into high valuation for the first round of financing for any reason, even if your hair's on fire and the idea is worth billions, because it's a first round, and the opportunity for that first round to end up with a lot of money in the end for you and the investor, it isn't a very high percentage. So let's do a good job of pricing that first round right and make everybody feel good, including the investor. Don't take money where the investor or lender supplies nothing other than cash. Dumb investment, because dumb money just doesn't understand. And often when they don't understand the business, they can't contribute to it. And if they can't, contribute ideas and intelligence and support. And that kind of money is easier to get sometimes because others ask questions, but it certainly doesn't do much good for the business. Number 6, and here it is, don't walk away from rejection by experienced investors thinking that they're stupid and just don't get it. I've heard this from entrepreneurs whispered, stated, told to other entrepreneurs. That group just didn't get it, and so they didn't invest in my business. Well, there may have been a reason. So don't just walk away from it. So do ask 3 sets of progressively deeper questions to get down to the heart of why the investor didn't invest. And usually, you've just heard it, a sophisticated investor group will tell you why. Otherwise, an unsophisticated investor may just say something that might just be hiding the fact that he or she doesn't want to put the money on the line, or it might be the fact they don't understand your business, or it might be the fact that they're a little bit worried about whether there'll ever be a return or liquidity or whoever knows what. But ask questions, find out why. Pretty good reason.